Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about a historical golden age, an era of innovation that's so foundational its ideas are literally all around you, even if you don't realize it.
All right, let's start with a few things that'll probably look familiar. For anyone who's ever sat in a classroom, what's more recognizable than this? The whole idea of solving for x, that didn't just appear out of nowhere. The tools we use for it, they were carefully, methodically put together during this amazing period of discovery.
Okay, from math to something a little more magical. How about a story? I'm talking about one that's been told and retold for centuries, turned into books, plays, you name it, even huge blockbuster movies.
That's right. Aladdin, Sinbad, Alibaba, they all come from this one legendary collection. So you've got these modern staples, right? From the math in your homework to the stories you grew up with, and they all trace back to the Islamic Golden Age. So the big question is, how? How did this incredible explosion of innovation even happen?
Well, it all started with two key ingredients, the right location and a really remarkable openness to ideas from all over the known world. At its peak, the empire was this huge, bustling hub. Think of its trade routes like the arteries of the ancient world. But they weren't just pumping silks and spices. They were pumping knowledge, ideas.
And this created this incredibly diverse culture. It was a real melting pot, You had brilliant minds from so many backgrounds, Greeks, Chinese, Arabs, Persians, all pouring their knowledge into one massive shared pool.
And this part is so important. They weren't just making up new ideas from scratch. No, they were actively looking for ancient wisdom from places like Greece and Rome. They translated it, studied it, and preserved it. We're talking about knowledge that could have just vanished forever, and it's the very same knowledge that later helped kickstart the European Renaissance. Okay, so you've got this amazing environment. How did that actually lead to breakthroughs? Let's dive into the science and math that would literally reshape the world.
Meet one of the heavy hitters of the era, the scholar Al-Khwarizmi. His work was an absolute game changer. He's the one who gave us a system for solving problems with unknown numbers, basically creating the whole field we now call algebra.
And this is a perfect example of what made this era so special. It wasn't just about inventing new things, it was about connecting and amplifying great ideas. They took the number system we all use today and helped spread it far and wide, along with this totally revolutionary concept that came from India.
And that concept, it was the number 0. Yeah, 0. It seems so simple to us now, right? But back then, the idea of having a symbol for nothing was absolutely mind-blowing. It was the missing piece of the puzzle that unlocked much more complex and powerful math. And here's a cool little detail. The word itself tells the story. Our word 0 comes from the Arabic word that means something empty. How perfect is that?
So, this scientific way of thinking led to some amazing new tech. Check out the astrolabe. You can think of it as an early version of a GPS. This seriously complex gadget lets sailors figure out their latitude just by looking at the stars. It made long-distance sea travel way safer and way more predictable.
And in medicine, the progress was just astounding. They set up the world's first real hospitals. We're talking separate wards for different illnesses, and their approach was really holistic, built on knowledge from all over the ancient world. They treated people with a mix of drugs, diet, and exercise. And get this, in surgery, they were making huge leaps, like using stitches to neatly close up wounds.
But hey, the golden age wasn't just happening in science labs and libraries. Not at all. It also completely redefined art, architecture, and even what it meant to live in a big, bustling city.
Just to give you a sense of the sheer scale we're talking about, look at the capital city, Baghdad. It took 100,000 workers 4 years to build it. 100,000. It became one of the biggest and wealthiest cities on the planet.
So cities like Baghdad were like magnets for scholars and artists. And here's a wild fact for you. After they learned how to make paper from the Chinese, Baghdad alone had over 100 bookshops. Can you even imagine that? 100 bookshops in one city back then.
Now, when it came to art, there was one form that was considered the absolute pinnacle, calligraphy. This wasn't just writing, it was the art of beautiful handwriting. It was so revered that it turned the written word itself into something intricate and just breathtaking.
And just look at how versatile it was. You see it in everything from these super ornate geometric patterns and holy texts,
all the way to these incredibly creative and playful drawings of animals, where the entire animal is actually formed from words. It's amazing.
Okay, so what's the big takeaway here? The most important point is that all these incredible achievements didn't just stay put. They didn't stay locked away inside the Islamic Empire. Nope, their greatest legacy is how they were shared with the rest of the world.
Through that massive network of trade and scholarship we talked about, these breakthroughs in math, medicine, philosophy, you name it, they spread across the globe. People translated them, studied them, and then built on them. And that process, that sharing of knowledge, is what fundamentally shaped world history and leads directly to the tools and stories we still use today.
And that really leaves us with a powerful thought to end on, doesn't it? This whole golden age is just this stunning example of what's possible. It shows us what can happen when different cultures and different people come together, not to fight, but to preserve knowledge, to learn from each other, and to build on shared ideas. The results, as we've seen, can literally echo for centuries.